So a lot of people think that, this misconception behind, the real estate agent does everything. But it's really, people should come to us first to see how much can they afford, so they are not wasting their time coming to you and saying, hey, I'm looking for a house of $500,000, but they're not yet pre-approved. I do the financing. I look at your debt, your credit, your income, and with that, I determine how much you're able to get approved for, and I send it over to you, and you find a house within that property range.
This episode was brought to you by the Hungry Pandas of eXp Realty, Mental Makeover, and Vikings Baseball.
Welcome back to Make Excuses or Make It Happen podcast. Today I have a very special guest, Douglas Santos of Cross Country Mortgage in Peabody, Massachusetts. The reason I brought him on here today is because Douglas is someone who I've been working with for a couple years now, someone I was introduced to earlier on in my life, but we kind of rekindled our relationship through real estate. He's really prides himself in getting what needs to be done for his clients and putting them in the best situation possible, similar to myself. So I wanted to introduce him here. He'll tell you a little bit more about himself, and then we're going to dive deeper into his story, his background, where he came from, how he became a mortgage loan officer. Without further ado, Doug.
What's up, guys? As you know, Xavier just introduced me. My name is Doug Santos. I'm a mortgage lender for Cross Country Mortgage. I got started about a year and a half ago. It's been going great. I love helping people get into their homes, and it's been a ride, and I appreciate you having me on here. We've obviously done some good stuff together, and I only look forward to doing more in the future.
Real estate's all about relationships.
100%.
100%, whether it's your clients, to your network partners, to your managers, to the public in general. Mm-hmm. I mean, I want you to kind of just explain real quick kind of why are you even here? How does your business tie into what I do, and what the people watching us here, how we can benefit them?
My role in the process is to get the person pre-approved for a loan. So essentially what we do is give out home loans for people to go in and buy their house. We have programs that offer, certain things like low down payment. But essentially our overall picture is to get our borrowers pre-approved, for whatever amount they can get pre-approved to, and then we hand it over to you. Right. So a lot of people think that, this misconception behind, the real estate agent does everything. But it's really, people should come to us first to see how much can they afford, so they are not wasting their time, coming to you and saying, hey, I'm looking for a house of $500,000, but they're not yet pre-approved. So I do the financing. I look at your debt, your credit, your income, and with that, I determine how much you're able to get approved for, and I send it over to you, and you find a house within that property range.
For sure. I mean, of course, I understand that fully, but that is kind of briefly how the process goes down. And there are key differences in what you do versus I do, although we're essentially a team, you and your realtor and attorney network partners, as well as me and my realtor and lender network partners. We're one team, but there's dynamics within. And at the very beginning, for the consumer, the average, future first-time home buyer, that's a lot, I mean? It's a lot to understand, and that's exactly our main point of why we're getting on this podcast, because we want to put everyone who's willing to, listen and learn and grow in a position where they will never have to make excuses.
Right.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Their mindset, their support, their network, their opportunities are so fruitful that there's no way that you can only make it happen. So as I mentioned, we had met growing up both on the North Shore through athletics, through mutual friends and whatnot. I want you to share where you came from, your upbringing, and where are you based out of now?
As you know, I've had a tougher upbringing than most people, but beyond grateful for everything that's happened, because that's what made me who I am today. But I originally was born in Brazil, migrated here when I was 7 years old. Was living with my parents in Peabody. That's where we first landed. And, from then I moved from house to house, but back and forth between Peabody and Quincy. So I moved away from Quincy in 6th grade. Lived there till I was in 9th grade, and then moved back to Peabody. Now, when I transferred over to Peabody High, I started playing football, and football was kind of really my gateway. It kind of kept me out of trouble, and I learned a lot of valuable things from football, and that kind of made me who I am. It taught me many lessons, hard work, confidence, determination, all these things that I bring into my business today, So that overall, I don't want to get into too many details, because I've obviously, had some
many trials and tribulations.
Exactly,
and whatnot.
and those things are kind of kept personal, but a lot of people actually know my story because,
it's been publicized.
It's been publicized.
You share it with people for motivation.
Right,
So from that right now, maybe talk about how you studied and you entered right into cross country and that you're based in Peabody.
Fair.
Say that, and
Fair.
then I'll ask you the next
Fair,
question.
fair. So I, graduated from Peabody High School. Went to go play over at Assumption College. Practically a free scholarship to go play over there.
Awesome.
And I was going to take that opportunity 100 times over 100.
Right.
So small D2 school. Ended up studying criminology and sociology. Got a different perspective of things from that field that I was studying, and after that I graduated. I wanted to become a cop initially. I wanted to help people somehow. With COVID and everything, with the whole Black Lives Movement, everything was kind of just, it wasn't the right direction for me at that time in life. So I drifted into cross-country mortgage. I became a sales assistant for about 3 weeks.
That's it.
3 weeks, and I thought I was ready for the test. The test ended up beating my butt a couple times, but I ended up passing it the third try. And from then, I've been just climbing the ladder, trying to help as many people as I can, not just getting a home, but educating them how to get a home, because a lot of people don't think it's possible.
Right.
A lot of people don't think it's possible, and a lot of it has to do with excuses, because they're
misunderstanding,
misconceptions and stuff like that. So my job, I feel like my job is to help not just older people, but people who are our age and younger.
I like to say anyone who's willing.
Anybody.
You know what I mean?
Anybody that's willing to take the next step.
So you went to university.
Yeah.
You studied sociology, criminology. Figured out, you appreciated the studies, but you can use it elsewise.
Right.
Fell into lending, loved it.
Mm-hmm.
You saw how you're making impact on people's
right away
homes, where they live, where they eat, sleep, breathe, have fun, and So your professional licensures sit as your Bachelor of Science or Bachelor of Arts.
Yeah.
So you're a Bachelor of Art from Assumption, and you are a mortgage loan officer. You're licensed in what states?
I'm licensed in Massachusetts, obviously.
Where we're based out of.
Right. New Hampshire, Maine.
Yeah.
I'm in Rhode Island also, and Florida.
Right.
I'm working on a Connecticut license right now.
Okay, so half the Eastern Seaboard. Good
job.
And on top of that, though, so I'd like to clarify this now as we speak about. We just talked about touching into multiple markets, and not just market states. Mm-hmm. If someone asked you to go lend out in California, if they said, "Hey, Doug, I'm moving to California and I need a loan," can you make that happen?
Yeah, we're countrywide.
Right.
And although I'm not licensed in that state specifically, we have a system where it's called an expressway system. And what we do is we take the loan application and we send it to an expressway, our expressway portal, where another loan officer from whatever state that may be, like California, will take that loan.
Someone
and they will
who knows that market,
Correct.
Knows how to advise there, make sure they get a property there, because it's a vast difference anywhere you go in the country.
100%.
So you essentially have a full-time relocation department.
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
And I think that's very undermined.
Right.
You know what I mean?
100%.
I mean, I have friends that I'll see, they end up moving across the country, and I'm like, wow, I wish I could have helped you. They're like, it was tough, and I'm like, I got you.
Yeah, I got one of my friends right now, a great example. She's we graduated, well, actually, she was a year older than me, but she lives in Virginia.
Yep.
And I'm not licensed in Virginia,
right.
But that's exactly what I did. I took her whole application and I submitted to the expressway portal, and a lender grabbed her application, and I'm still doing all the, I'm the one communicating with her. I'm the one grabbing the docs.
You're essentially getting two brains.
Yeah, pretty much, so he just runs the application through on his end of things, in Virginia, and I kind of just, help her
with the
communication, because she obviously has a relationship with me and not him.
Right.
You know, so that's something neat that we offer.
Yeah, I mean, and we do the same thing.
Right.
Most realtors do. A good realtor will. Like, I'm sitting in Berkshire Hathaway Commonwealth Newton's office right now. There's a team of 30 agents on this roster. There's a team of, I think, almost 500 agents under the brokerage itself in Massachusetts, New England, and Rhode Island. I mean, in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Rhode Island, and other parts of New England, Connecticut as well. But, you know, I've had clients exactly this. When they say, you know, X, I'm selling my home and I need to move to Rhode Island. I'm selling my home and I need to move to, you know, Kentucky, or my grandfather contacts me and says, Xavier, I need to sell my single family in Kansas City, Missouri. Well, then, you know, same exact thing.
Right.
I go onto my portal, I enter my client's information, and that's getting sent directly to, like you said, that person similar to myself in the market that's trusted with my company that can get the job done. And so, yeah, I wanted people to know that although agents are sometimes licensed state by state and mostly operate state by state, well, first, many agents like us, lenders and agents, we work on and we actually get multiple state licensures, which helps us and you. And we have the full-time reload department if worse comes to worse. If we can't make it out there or we don't have that license, we still have you covered by someone there who knows the market and our, you know, expertise knowing you with your relationship like you touched
100%.
on. So next question I'd ask is, why did you decide to become an entrepreneur? What was that fire, that burning desire, that passion that hit you? When did it hit you and why did you do it?
So I think it really became clear to me when I knew that it was all up to me to make it work. You know, so
similar to many other aspects of your life, right?
Right. You know, I've had an upbringing where I've had to work for what I got.
Right.
You know, what I needed to do, and that's kind of, it's been in me. You know, it's been just something that I've known to do since a very early age, and becoming an entrepreneur, it's all up to you. You got to get up and you got to have a goal for that day, what you want to do and what you want to accomplish. And sometimes you may not see it go anywhere, you know, because it's up and downs, but eventually it'll start clicking, and there's going to be times that you're going to feel like you're doing a lot and not seeing many results, but then you're going to, you know, those results, everybody that you've spoken to, you know, are eventually going to come back, and you're going to see all of a sudden all the results present to you. You know, so it was really, you know, my first time failing the test. You know, that kind of it gave me a drive. You know, I was like, I got to pass this test, and it made me study even harder. And then the third time, I was like, same deal. After failing the second time, I was even hungrier to pass the third time. And the third time, if I didn't pass, it was going to be 6 months, and that I'd have to wait. And
you had no option.
I had no option.
That's what you're explaining. It's like
know?
You so many times, time after time, no matter what it was, if I want this done,
I gotta get it done.
I gotta do whatever it takes.
No excuses
to accomplish it.
No excuses.
So cool. That's what's up. The entrepreneur journey came about you from you realizing that things, if you wanted things to happen, you had to put in the work.
You had to put in the work, man. And believe it or not, I the first time I went in for the test, you know, when I first sat down with my sales manager, he really got me to challenge myself when he said nobody passes, 50% of people pass this test the first try. And I was like, come on, man, I just graduated college. You know how many tests I've taken? I was confident that I was going to pass. And I studied, you know, I put the time in, you know, I sacrificed my time, and it was just something that there was just so much information.
That's the definition of entrepreneurship, right?
Right.
It's like you think you got it all planned. You make an executive plan. You might put in 50 to 100% of it and still see no result to not what you wanted. And what do you do at that pivotal moment? Right. What do you do?
You could either get down on yourself, or you could just pick up where you left
motivation.
off and use
Realize
it as motivation.
that adversity happened for a reason, whether it's God, whether it's you, whether it's, you know, the universe and the destiny, whatever it is, it happened.
Correct.
and we our greatest choice is what we're going to do to react to it.
Yeah.
I think that's how I fell into entrepreneurship a lot too. It's all I knew. So I bet on myself. How am I going to eat today? Got to get money. How am I going to get my license at 16? Got to ask for help, or I got to go work for it and maybe still get help and still cover half the cost.
Right.
Hey, it's Dick Lee here with eXp Realty. Just want to say thank you for watching the first podcast of Make Excuses or Make It Happen. If you're a real estate agent or if you're a loan officer, please reach out to me. I want to make sure that you are financially aligned with your business. What does financially aligned mean? Well, that makes that your business is working for you. We want to make sure that you're maximizing your profitability, maximizing your revenue, and also working smarter, not harder. See, I've been doing this for over 27 years. I want to make sure that you're doing the same as well too. So hit me up, 508-277-9939, or follow me on Instagram at @TheRealDickLee. Thank you so much and have a great day.
Hey all, this is Chris with Mental Makeover. Wanted to come on here and talk a little bit more about our company, our mission, and our values. So Mental Makeover, it's a 501c3 nonprofit organization that started in August of 2018 after the deaths of Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain. And since then, my team and I, we have been working to develop curriculum, education, and awareness for the youth in our community, especially in Salem. We've lost too many people to mental health struggles, and we wanted to do something about that. We wanted to be a little bit more proactive than reactive, and that's what Mental Makeover is striving to do. We're happy to sponsor the Make Excuses or Make It Happen podcast, as Xavier is a good friend of ours. He's from Salem, and he's making a difference in our community. And with that, thanks for having us.
What are your 1 year to 5 year to 10-year goals? Where do you see yourself? What are some of the accomplishments? I say maybe keep it to like 3 for each, right?
For sure.
Because I actually learned, that's something I learned, right? Like, write the first 3, the most important 3 things you need to get done every single day.
Right.
And you will see, no matter what you're doing, you're productive.
Right.
Right? And so if you were to say top 3 goals of you executing in the next year, what would they be? Where do you see yourself?
So my first year of business, I was able to close 16 million. That was my first real year. My goal is to double that.
So your first year you did 18 million in sales.
First year I did 16 million.
16.
I helped about 43 families either refinance their homes or purchase. So it was half and half. Now my next year.
How'd you build that initial book of business?
I was grinding. I was waking up every day and I was saying, who am I going to talk to today?
Right.
How many people am I going to say that this is what I do?
Real
How many
estate
people am I going to tell that this is what I do? I help people buy their homes.
And new connections
New
too,
connections, right? So every day, I'd contact, 20 realtors a day and I'd hear back from about 3. But if I contacted 40, I'd hear back 6.
Right.
So that's how it's a numbers game.
Everyone knows that in real estate, exactly, it's a numbers game, and that key number and metric is volume.
Oh yeah.
Right? That high level volume of calls.
Of course.
So that, because this is a huge thing in real estate. The conversion rates are what they are.
Right.
They're proven from year after year after year, and sometimes they get either progressively better or progressively worse.
Or stagnant.
But whatever, they have an average.
Of course.
Right? So say 10-20%, that's what we're all used to, right? Out of every 10 people, 1 goes through, whatever.
Right.
Right? And then sometimes that funnel is 10 out of 1, 10 out of 1, 10 out of 1 to get 1.
Right.
So if you know that that's the principle, right? Don't overanalyze it. Don't follow. You can't catch yourself when you get 1, because that 1 could be 0.
Of course.
So easily you need 10. And then with that 10, you need 100. 100, you need 1,000.
You need to build it.
Because when you get to 1,000, 100 answered.
Right.
But when you got to 10, none went through.
Of course.
So your 1 year vision is
double.
We talked about how you built it up. That's how you just explained. You built it up. You did everything. You had multiple prospecting avenues. You didn't just say, "Oh, I'm only calling my contacts,"
Right.
or "Oh, I'm only posting on social media," or "I'm only making videos," or "I'm only whatever it is." Right? You have to have almost. Me comfortably as a realtor, it might be a little different than you, but I think I have about 7 or so prospecting avenues in which some are stronger than other, but I'm always working to kind of build them all up, because once that's sustained, then I can choose one to focus on. I can be 100% referral based, or 100% cold caller, or 100% social media guru. So then, to finish your 1 year vision, you shared with us that you sold 16 million approximately in helping people purchase and refinance. That is the count in the last calendar year. What is your projection of your production level for the next year?
For the next year, I'm hoping to close 32 million.
And how is that going to happen?
Goal. Same thing.
Right.
You know, same thing.
Doubling up.
Exactly. I got to reach out to realtors. I got to attend open houses. I have to post on social media. You know, most of our referrals come from realtors.
Right.
You know, so I have to reach out to realtors, and I got to be able to provide them with some sort of, they want value. Why should I pick you over my other lender or this other lender? And I always tell them, look, I take pride in my work. I always answer my phone, and I make the deal work. You know, I'm going to exhaust all my options. I'm going to exhaust all my resources to try to make this deal work. Sometimes things are out of our control. We can't do, you know, if somebody is self-employed and they're claiming $20,000 and they have a car loan out, they have student loans, like that makes it hard.
Consult them and direct them the right way.
That's it. Try to keep it as simple as possible, the process. And if I can't make the deal work, I'll let them know what they need to do in order to eventually make the deal work. You know, so that's a big part of it too, is not just throwing away the people that don't qualify just yet. You know, is staying in touch with them and making sure that you're nurturing them.
I think one of my first couple deals was someone that I think I met with you like 8 months to 12 months before that person closed.
Correct.
And that to me meant a lot, because those 8 to 12 months I didn't get paid, but endless amount of opportunity and experience. Right. So that then, and meanwhile prospecting on top of that, so that then when that closing did happen, I'm ready to run. Right. You know, someone sends me something and I'm like, ching, 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 proving my value.
And not just that though, right? You took 8 to 12 months to help that person. Yeah. You show that person that you care. Once that person closed, they know that you're the guy. Forever. If anybody, you know, exactly, forever. If anybody needs help buying a house, they're gonna refer you because, hey, this guy took care of me. We've been working together for a year now.
So essentially, for you to get to double up, your goal of doubling up on your production, what you're going to do is you're going to continue your prospecting scaled up.
Correct.
You know, scale it up, have multiple avenues, making sure to come from a place of value, so that when people log into social media, when they are going to call a lender, when they are, you know, asking a friend, it's Douglas Santos who pops up. That, along with just coming from a place of value and helping people and caring and setting aside that difference from you from others, is what's going to get you to that 36 million on your second to third year as a lender. Right. Which is, I mean, I'm all about it, right? That's high, right? Wow, Doug, good job, right? Oh, you can't do that, or can you, right? But just 10x it, 10x the goals, man. Who would have thought that you could have sold 16?
Right.
Not me.
For sure.
I'll tell you, right? I'll tell you, I wouldn't have thought that I would have produced. I think I'm on track to produce 10 million in real estate only less than 18 months as licensed agent at less than 23 years old. I would never thought, even my loved ones. Wow. Right. Like for me, I was like, I'm gonna do it. If I sell one house, I get paid this much. You guys are gonna see, and it's always just such a far vision away. But all of that execution and what we're sharing is what brings it to fruition.
Right. 100%. But yeah, 5 years.
5 years, right? So yeah, so say you've got your first 1 to 2 years down, first 5 years down, and you've built a solid book of business, and you know, what are your next? If you couldn't even imagine it, it's pretty far out, right? Life's gonna change by then, but if you could, we'll stay out of the 10-year, because I think that us as younger people, I mean, shoot, technology is gonna triple in 10 years, like, but you know. What would you say?
5 years. Yeah. 5 years. If I was to double up every year, you know, double my production, I'd be aiming for 100 million.
Okay, and how many people are you looking to help a year?
Last year, I was able to help around 45, so
to get hundreds. That 100 million, it'd be probably 300 to 500 loans.
Hundreds, you know, so my biggest goal is help as many people as I can.
Right.
Help as many people get out of rent, right, which is ridiculously high right now,
Right.
into their own home where they're building memories, they're building equity.
Right.
You know, the homes are appreciating over time. You know, what is it, 3 to 5% yearly?
That's on average over
On
hundreds and
average.
hundreds of years. If we talked about
Last year, we're talking, you know, what, 10 to 15%?
Yeah.
You know, so that's my goal. That's my ultimate goal. You know, from year 1 to year 5 to year 10, my goal is to help as many people as I can to be homeowners.
Right.
You know,
and so
because-
I'd say is that many lenders have that goal. What systems are you going to get in place, and how are you going to make that happen?
So obviously prospecting is huge. You know, keeping up with the people that aren't yet qualified,
Yep.
helping them eventually get on a path to eventually qualify. You know,
So no one can ever say there's not a loan officer out there that doesn't care about them.
right. You know,
That's Doug.
you know,
Yeah,
so
Doug
that's,
cares.
I do care, man,
Yeah.
because my family till this day are paying rent,
Right.
you know, and
Right.
like that's, I
Man.
see them, you know, I see them $2,500 a month. And it's like, that's a mortgage. That's a mortgage payment, you know, and rates are a little bit high right now, but if they do end up going down again, you could refinance, get into a lower monthly payment, save some money.
And either way, rates in general are just they're not controlled by guys like sitting here like me and Doug. No, they're controlled by things such as economic
Oh,
factors,
yeah.
political factors. You know, the war in Russia. You know, whatever it is, there's always going to be so much fluctuating those rates. And when you look historically, significantly lower. So you've shared a lot with us today, and thank you for that. So I want to kind of wrap this up. When is a time in life where you had no choice but to make excuses or make it happen? Like there was no excuse to be made. Your only choice could be to make it happen. When is a time where that happened to you?
I feel like that's every day. Every day. You know, being entrepreneurs, as you know, you can choose to get up and do nothing, you know, not talk to anybody, not post on social media, not call your referral partners. If you don't do that, you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, so every day that I wake up, I say, how am I going to take a next step forward instead of backwards? You know, so I wake up, usually I'm up right now at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
You know, I have my little side business going where I train kids. I help them, you know, get in better shape for whatever sport that they're playing, mostly focused on around football right now. And then from there I go home, I eat breakfast. Actually, I work out after that. I eat breakfast, you know, and then I try to contact all my referral partners. You know, it's not every day. You know, I have a specific day. On Thursdays, I reach out to as many people as I can
Yep.
and let them know, hey, just checking in on you. I hope everything's going well.
That's your system.
That's my system, you know. And then from there, I try to reach out to at least 3 to 5 new realtors a week. Those are usually on
Again,
my.
pinpointing that goal on the calendar.
Of course.
Actually making sure there's no excuses. 3 to 5. Is it really that hard?
No. It's,
Like I could Google 3 to 5.
Exactly.
realtors.
You know,
just
so-
call them for giggles.
Yep. And I reach out to the people that I already have pre-approved. You know, just checking in on them. You know, how's the pre-approved process? If it's been more than 3 months, hey, are you looking to update your pre-approval? If you're looking to put an offer in on this weekend, we got to make sure that your pre-approval is up to date. With interest rates going up, those pre-approvals can change because obviously the higher the interest rate, the less buying power you have.
Yeah,
So
I see that a lot with clients. Right
you do, right? And we have one right now. You
Yeah.
know, Gene.
Right.
You know, which is he's been working hard, and you know, interest rates going up just brings his purchase price down, and
which makes the search harder.
which makes it harder. But at the end of the day, it's
We're going to make it happen.
We're gonna make it
confident.
happen.
We have a strategy, a game plan behind it.
and it's every day
you
though.
know,
Every day is that it's either you can make excuses or you can make it happen. You may not see results right away, but
but the consistency.
consistency, that's gonna eventually, you know, show you all the work that you put in.
Right.
You know, and that was my first 3 months becoming a loan officer. That's all I did. I had no deals. You know, but then after that 4th month, it was
You kept that vision. You
always,
knew you would have it.
always. You know, one deal turned into 2 deals. 2 deals turned into 4 deals. All of a sudden, I had helped 45 people. in 1 year, my first year.
So because you keep that mindset of that there is no excuses to be made and all I can do all day is execute and make it happen, that's how you've gotten to where you are.
Correct.
Why you're projecting to be a successful, you are already proving yourself and projecting to be a highly successful mortgage loan officer. And honestly, your life's starting to come together where, you know, you're feeling more aligned on personal business and whatever it is within the community.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Good stuff. And other than that, then, what is the number one piece of advice you would leave with people?
Stop paying rent. You know,
Okay, how does it help?
rent's extremely high.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a good job, you know, some people say rent can be helpful in some cases, especially if you're moving
Maybe
place
if
to
you
place.
have some money behind you.
If
and
you have
it's a
some money behind you,
choice.
right? You know, but some people like to move around.
Right.
You know, that I can't deny that. You know, renting is a good option for you, but
Yeah, you want a car, you want a new car every year, go get a lease.
right.
Okay.
You know, if you're trying to stay in one place and you've been renting for 2+ years, try to get a mortgage. You know, it's an easy process. You know, you
With the family, you likely have multiple incomes in the
Yeah,
home,
you know,
maybe that
there's-
you can kind of conjoin. That's the main point why it's so important to consult.
Of course, but a lot of people don't think that they can do it.
Right.
They don't believe that they can do it because they never try to go forward and do it.
And the journey never even begins for them.
Right? You know, so my biggest advice is try to get pre-approved. Try. You know,
Even I did.
right.
I'm a college grad. I'm renting right now. It wasn't my ideal option, but me and Doug ran numbers. We have a game plan. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right. That's
I
the
know
only
I'm
way.
purchasing one day, and I actually know when that day is.
Right.
Because I'm gonna do everything, and I have many blocks to hurdle and accomplish, get done, get paid, get move forward, handle. Before that happens.
Right. But
But
you
the
would have
same
never
thing.
known
Yeah.
if you didn't try.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. A lot of people, believe it or not, they can. You know, I had a buddy of mine reach out to me a couple of weeks ago, and he was telling me, like, he can't get pre-approved because he has student loans.
Right.
I told him,
And you're
man,
like, that's
we
a
take-
misconception.
that's a
Let me break
misconception.
it down.
How much money does he make? $100K a year.
Right.
What's his student loan amount? $50,000, his overall balance. But
But the IDR.
right, we take the monthly payment. We take 5% of the monthly payment.
Right.
That's his only debt. He was pre-approved for $650,000.
Ring, ring, ring.
You know, and it's like,
And I think so sometimes people will be renting though, and they might say, hey, I'm check to check.
right,
Well, I know financial advisors.
right. I know financial
That's
advisors
almost
as well.
the only thing I can say, unfortunately, right?
Right.
Because I think like we all need a place to live, right?
Right,
Every single human.
of course.
And some people just gonna have more unfortunate cards
Right.
dealt. But, you know, if you have an income, I think it's undoubtedly true that a 0.5%, 0.005 of your income to even up to 1%, and ideally, hopefully 5%, because obviously what people who are financially sound do, they invest 20 to 30% of their income, if not 50 to 80. I think that there's no excuse not to get started investing 1 to 5% of your income, no matter what it is, because it can be unseen. If you made $1,000, well, you made $995.
Right,
And I understand that there are bills that are hundreds, and there are kids to take care of, and food to eat, and gas to pay. But I think that with enough determination, research, help, understanding, learning, execution, discipline, consistency, gratitude, it'll come together.
100%.
But I just said 9 things. So, gotta make it happen.
Make it happen, no
Yeah.
excuses.
For the audience, thank you very much. I want to leave it with your contact information.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If someone from what they took today is interested in, first off, just having a real estate conversation, maybe even becoming your friend, getting
Right.
to know you, or business-wise, getting a mortgage, refinancing their property, even just preliminary talks about anything, what can they do and how can they get on your loan, especially if they're looking to actually submit a loan, submit an application for a loan?
Okay, so my website is simple. It's dougsantos.com. My contact information is, my number is 978-893-6263. Now, I give out my personal number because that's how you could contact me the easiest, and I'm always there for people. You could call me at any time of the day. I'm always on clock. I'm always on, working.
How often are you in the office?
7 days a week. Literally 7 days a week.
FaceTimes me from the office.
All the time.
In the morning and the afternoon.
If you want to send me an email, it's douglas.santos@myccmortgage.com. And, I just want to help. I just want to help you get into a property where you can call it your home. Renting, you don't see that come back to you. You're paying your landlord's mortgage when you could be paying your own. You're building equity, you're building memories, and then 5 years down the road you have a big I essentially call it a piggy bank. You're putting the money into your account, into your own house. In 5 years, when you have a ton of equity, you could pull some of that money out for a low interest rate. So that's another advice that I'd give to people is get pre-approved.
Facts, man. I mean, real estate is America's #1 investment. Everyone knows, not even America, since the beginning of time. I'm sitting on land right now. You need a piece of land. Doug, thank you very much.
Always. Thanks
Make
for
it
having
happen,
me.
brother.